Welcome to Reading and Writing Between the Lines, a podcast series about communication skills in the workplace. I'm your host, John Witzman. Join me as I speak with industry professionals and Conestoga faculty and alumni to explore their journeys with reading and writing skills. Follow us as we talk about how communications learning has changed over the years, how these skills are used in a wide range of industries, and the future of workplace communications. So I want to, if I can, just spend a few minutes talking about note-taking, because this is a particular interest of mine. I see note-taking changing. I see people using their laptops or tablets or their phones to take notes, and I'm very curious about what that looks like compared to how I take notes. And I can look at my notepad in front of me right now and know that there's some comfort there for me and probably nothing coherent or intelligible to another person. And I think that's really interesting because it's so different from what we are doing in a formal communications educational environment, where the whole point is to communicate clearly to anybody who might read it. So when you're taking notes, did you have a shorthand? Do you remember sort of developing a little style over time? Do you remember what it was like going back to look at your notes later? What do you remember about that moment where you're sitting there and the ideas are flying around and you're trying to capture it?
Yeah. Definitely. You're looking for buzzwords that triggers kind of like your ideas and things like that. Absolutely. And as I'm hearing the different ideas, and because I'm obviously I'm there to kind of think visually, right? And it's great because I'm a visual learner, and that's currently what I'm doing in my current role. So, I'm always kind of like in my head, and I'm trying to interpret that. So I'm hearing things, I'm writing down ideas quickly, and it moves fast, like you said. So I'm trying to pull resources together and things like that to help express that idea, right? Because, the thing with communication and the way I see it in that role was to, like, how do you digest the information, right? And, picture's worth 1,000 words, and so on and so on. So how do you use that to, and folks at home that are watching, whether the shows are news or, you're kind of having lunch or dinner or whatever. And so it's just a way to kind of visually give you the visual cues and things like that. And definitely with complex ideas and things like that too. So how do you kind of,
what does your page look like? Are you creating little boxes? Are you breaking down the page into little sections?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm like circling things. I think I had like a red and black, and so I'll underline. And
you're underlining.
Absolutely. So all those, taking little notes.
You have arrows connecting ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's fun. It's one of those, like, I do recall, like, after the meetings, I'd have to go and unpack it quickly, right? Because, as ideas are flying and your notes kind of get a little messy, you develop tactics to kind of to manage that, and then you have to go and unpack that later on. Right. So I'll kind of make another note to refine that later on. So right after that meet.
How quickly after do you have to go before those ideas start to go stale?
It's happened a couple of times where you're trying to just you're kind of forgetting, like bits and pieces here and there, and I might go and have a conversation with a journalist or and ask them just to kind of trigger some of the thoughts, just to get me back down that pathway of thinking. Because sometimes you don't have time to finish a thought, right? Because things are moving. So you kind of lay the pathways down in the notes. So that's how I saw it, as to kind of trigger, that work that's worthy of contemplation later on. So I'll make a note and then later on reflect on that.
I love that image of laying the pathways, that you're sort of connecting dots, that this is something structural, that there's something tangible about ideas, and that the words, and not just the actual words or even fully formed sentences, but the way that those can be connected in creative ways, in ways that are sort of unique to you. We talk about these things in classrooms all the time when we talk about mind maps or brainstorms, flow charts, right? We try to create various kinds of visual representations for ideas to help people develop their ideas, plan their ideas. And it's challenging. It's a hard thing to learn. It's a hard thing to teach. And that marks the end of another episode of Reading and Writing Between the Lines, a podcast hosted by me, John Witzman, on behalf of the Communications Department and School of Interdisciplinary Studies at Conestoga College. You can find other episodes of this series on our YouTube channel, Reading and Writing Between the Lines. Stay tuned for more episodes. Thanks for listening.